lucky lot. Double servings today. Double servings. But this is not something we could have left alone at all. This is something that couldn't wait until tomorrow. It had to be dealt with today. Now, those of you that listen to Talk Sport will have heard that Jim White has said, and I quote, because I don't want to get it wrong, he has said that don't panic, West Ham fans, Declan Rice is going nowhere. He said, not in this window, that is for sure. It was made clear to me, and when he says made clear to me, so this is Jim White, who has the ear of Golden Sullivan, or Golden Sullivan have the ear of Jim White, whichever way you look at it. It was made clear to me they wouldn't sell Rice in this window, not for 120 million, not for 150 million. My understanding, I'm being serious, is it would need to start with a 2. We're talking north of 200 million to buy Declan Rice from West Ham. Geo?
Well, I've got a mini rant first, if you don't mind, because there'll be people that have clicked on this that aren't West Ham fans, and they're going to say, ridiculous, 200 million, you never get... That's the point, okay? Let's be clear here. The point is we don't want to sell him. Will we get 200 million for Declan Rice? No, we won't. We know that. But that's why we're pricing him at 200 million. We are pricing this player that we don't want to sell at what he's worth to West Ham United, not what he's worth to Man City, Chelsea, Man United. If your clubs think Declan Rice ain't worth that, then good. It means it's worked, that we want to keep him. We're trying to fend you off. If we were trying to sell a player, let's take Andre Yarmolenko, for example, we were trying to shift him on, we'd slap an affordable, cheap price tag on him. We'll say, he's free, come and collect him. We don't want to do that.
£200.
Yes, £200, 200 million. Is he worth 200 million? No, he's not. But that's the point. And it's something that frustrates me, whether it's about Declan Rice or other players of other clubs. When a club will price up their player at what looks like a ridiculous price, and it is a ridiculous price. But that's the point. The 200 million is for our player that we don't want to sell. That is it. Now, I don't think it would take 200 million. I think that's a completely different argument. But what West Ham are doing here, I think, and it's not often I say this, is the correct approach, which is slap a massive price tag on him and basically say you can have him. We're not saying he's not for sale. Everyone's for sale. But what we're saying is it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money to get him out of West Ham United.
Yeah, I mean, I was, I guess, not surprised to hear this, and they have to head it off at the pass. What I think this is doing very much is it's getting rid of that old narrative of 100 million Declan Rice, and really they had to rally against that. As I think, not just the owners, but as a club, as fans, I've certainly felt we know how good Declan Rice is. To a lesser extent, I felt we had it with Michael Carrick. West Ham fans always knew how good Michael Carrick was. And it was really only when he got to Man United and then people saw his flexibility, and when he used to sit in front of that back four and spray the passes around, suddenly sort of 7 years later, people saying, well, Michael Carrick's a really good player, is he? Yeah, thank you. We've been saying it for ages, but yeah, when we were saying it as West Ham, people say he's not that good. We've had to rally against this, and I call it Sean Longstaff-itis, which was whenever anybody else would have a player, the opposition fans would say, well, he ain't as good as, in this instance, Sean Longstaff. He ain't as good as Scott McTominay, or whatever the case may be. And we've had to rally against it, and we've had to say, no, this guy is special. He's a very, very special footballer. Now I think we got to the point where people, now when 100 million is mentioned, people no longer say, oh, that's not going to happen. For two reasons. Number one, they've seen him, be it with England or being one of the best players in the Premier League. Glenn Hoddle called him, as you know, the best defensive midfielder in Europe. So, but also, you know, they've seen him. They've also seen the Jack Grealish go for 100 million. So, a player from the best of the rest can go for 100 million. I think what it's doing is changing it around now, and it's just sort of changes the pricing. So they've literally taken the price gun out, taken the product off the shelf, ripped off the 100 million, and they've put a new one in. But it's basically, I think it's make us an offer, but don't come with anywhere near 100 million. I think what they're very much doing is, you know, maybe Declan Rice, but you will be looking, you've got to have to break that record. And actually, I disagree with what Jim's saying, because actually I think what they're looking at saying, come in with 130 million and then maybe a deal can be done. But he is going to have to be sold at some point because he's not going to sign a new contract, as I understand it, Gio.
Yeah, I think what we're doing, we're putting ourselves into like a win-win situation here, which is either we get big bucks or we keep our best player. It's one of the two. It's win-win for West Ham, and I think the club have to view it as a win-win. Do we want to lose Declan? Of course we don't. We'd rather keep him. Of course we can. We replace Declan Rice? No, we can't. We cannot. West Ham cannot go and get a player of similar ability to Declan Rice. It don't exist. We are aware of that. But we have to be realistic, which is he's going to go at some point. He's going to go somewhere at some point. So we've got to get ready for that. And the best thing to do is make sure you get the biggest price possible and then plan for it. And I'd like to think we've already got a bit of a plan. I'd like to think Moyes knows A, how much he wants, and B, what he's going to do with that money, who he's going to go for, because it opens up a massive window of opportunity for David Moyes to, I'm not saying we need a rebuild, but to get in maybe 3 players with the money. And it's something I don't know, I could be wrong. It's not like he's trying to think of Everton players that moved under these 10 years. David Moyes ever had that massive money come in? John Stones, maybe when he went to Manchester City for 50 million, that would have been a big lump of money for him. But do
Rooney,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
Rooney for 30 to Man United,
yeah.
probably.
Even that wasn't loads of money, though, was it? It was back then, I guess,
Mm.
but you only get 2 players for that. So I think this is different now. So I think Moyes has also said in the past, a few weeks ago, Moyes has also said that 100 million's gone now. That was a bargain. You've missed it. The board have to back Moyes up here a little bit, and so which is say, well, he's right. Actually, that 100 million no longer exists. He's gone up in price, and there's no reason why we shouldn't get more than 100 million now. We, as West Ham fans, know it. But even if you take away your Claret and Blue specs, we know clubs use data and numbers and stuff. And we had a mini dive into Declan Rice's numbers the other day. He's hitting all the big numbers. He's comparable to all the Man City players. He's doing better than some Man City players in some departments and stuff. He's up there with the best in the Premier League. It's simple as that.
Not
And
just in tackling. May I just say that? Well, Gio's not just talking about interceptions and tackling. We looked at dribbles completed, carrying the ball forward into dangerous areas, starting attacks. He is up there. Sorry, Gio. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. He's hitting all the numbers now. And what he's doing, I think, with England at the Euros and this season, I think he has really come on since last season. Last season, I think he sort of established himself as, to use Glenn Hoddle's words, one of, if not the one of the best defensive midfielders in European football. I think with England and West Ham this season, I think he's actually establishing himself as one of the best centre midfielders, all-round centre midfielders in Europe as well. He's just adding strings to his bow at the minute, and every time he adds one more, his price goes up a notch. And 120, 130 million might sound steep coming into this summer for clubs and Man U fans, Chelsea fans, City fans watching this. I think we're barking mad. I think if you leave it another year, I think you'll find his price goes up a little bit more.
Well, I also think I look at all of those teams, and there's not a single one whose team he doesn't get into. Every single one. And I understand that Rodri is having a really good season. I understand it. I understand last season that Gundogan was really good. I really do. However, I think he'd be irresistible to any manager, because what you're getting is not just a complete player. You're getting a leader as well, and he really is a leader. You're getting a captain. You're getting an on-field lieutenant, and he's the age profile of him. You buy him, you're getting 10 years of a player in his prime. I mean, absolute prime. You're getting him from, what is he, 23? You're getting him from
He's
20,
22.
20, 22, say you can, from 22 to 32. And you will be, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that we've got him. And before, it was really Chelsea were the only show in town because of his links with the club, because again, a year and a half ago, it looked like Fernandinho was going to sign on for another year. Liverpool looked okay with, I'll get me Fabinho's and me
Fabinho.
what's, I mean, it's your firms and your fabs. You always get mixed up but with the Liverpool Enios. And you look at some of the other clubs who we've discussed as well. Arsenal, Arsenal have gone. Arsenal can't afford him. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, look, in
So
Liverpool, it's a 3-horse
yeah, right.
race. It's a 3-horse race.
And he gets into all of those teams. Not only does he get into, and this is again, it is going to sound, I know what you're saying. That's why you did your rant at the start and addressed the fans of the teams that will be watching this who are not West Ham fans, not only will he get into your team, he'll be the captain. And it's as simple as that, really. He might not walk in and be captain after day one, but he'll be the captain of your club, and that's what you're buying.
Yeah, I don't disagree. You know, his experience for his age is unbelievable. I think he's now played 152 games for West Ham, 51 of them as captain of West Ham United as well. Over 50 games as captain of West Ham is incredible at that age. And I think one day he'll wear the captain armband for England. He might not be the permanent captain, but I think certainly be a game in the near future where it gets handed to him. It might even just be a friendly, but he will have that captain's armband on for England as well when he's running around in the middle of the pitch. And he will fit in perfectly. He's flexible as well. I think this season might be the clincher. If any of these managers or clubs had doubts over Declan, is he worth that? It would have been over his passing. It would have been, that is the one thing that was holding him back last season because we hadn't seen him do it. This season, we're witnessing it. We're recording this on Wednesday evening. We've just beaten Norwich City, and Declan Rice has played that pass, which has led to our first goal, which is split the fullback and the winger and stuff. He plays Creswell in down that side. He's added that passing range to his game. So while Man City fans will say, we've got Rodri, I know he can play with Rodri. He can play next to him in that sixth role. Is he as influential as Gundogan or Bernardo Silva or De Bruyne? No, he's not. He's not. But what he does do, if you put him in there next to Rodri, he can do the box-to-box thing. But it just allows you to play Foden and Grealish and your number 9 when you sign him in the summer, if it is Haaland or someone else, and someone like Riyad Mahrez on the right. You can have that perhaps more attacking midfielder in your side and let Rice sit beside Rodri and push on as well. Man United, I think it'd be a no-brainer for Man U if they can persuade him. I think it would be an absolute no-brainer. He walks into that team. Next to Scott McTominay, might I add, next to him, I think they would complement each other really well. But the other thing you get, and we shouldn't think like this as football fans, and it's probably wrong to think like this, but in terms of branding and PR, he's also bloody good at that now. You're seeing him getting picked up more and more. You know, Christmas time came around, he was in the Sports Direct advert alongside Jack Grealish, and that is how he is seen now. He's an England international. He's got the branding thing going on off the pitch as well. He's one of the most likable people I've ever come across in football. With the fans, he's perfect too. He's just He's perfect. I'm gonna miss him when he does.
Yeah, but it's like we're waving goodbye to Declan. No, we're not. We want to keep him. And you know, the thing is, if we do manage to get Champions League this season, at the point of recording this, we are 4th in the Premier League and in the latter stages of the Europa League Cupos. Then maybe we keep him for another season. You know, you never ever know. But you know, look on the initial inspection of Jim White's comments, that 200 million, it looks wild. But when you start to scratch below the surface, maybe not so much, Gio. Maybe not so much.
No, I think it is wild. I think nobody expects us to get 200 million. You said 130. I think you're probably in the right area. I think that's probably the region that we'd accept. It's nowhere near 200. But what that 200 price tag is, it's a statement by West Ham United, which is a hands-off statement, or walk up with big bucks, please, because we're not interested in anything else. And I quite like that, actually. I'd much rather hear 200 million in a weird way. I'd much rather hear the club say 200 million than not for sale. And I know a lot of people disagree with me on that. So, we need to tell them to piss off. I don't feel that's realistic. I think everybody has a price in football. I've always believed that. I always will believe that. So I think sometimes you're better off just naming your price and using that price tag to either put them off or almost call them out a little bit and say, come on, then you want him, come and get him, but there's your price. Just like Leicester City did with Harry Maguire. They named their price, they stuck to it, and they showed a bit of bollocks, and they've done better for it, and we can do better for it, but it's a case of A, how much do we get, and like I said, B, how well prepared are we for it? There's no excuse. That's the one thing I will say. There's no excuse that if or when Rice goes, there's no excuse not to have a transfer strategy in place. Just like Aston Villa did. You may think they've got it wrong. That's fine. Results so far would suggest they did get it wrong, getting Buendia and Danny Ings in place for Jack Grealish, as well as
Bailey.
Liam Bailey. But what they did do right was they had a plan and they executed it perfectly. They got Danny Ings done like that. No one knew about it. They went and spent the Jack Grealish money before they even had the Jack Grealish money, so they didn't get their turned over a barrel by other clubs. That's what West Ham need to do. We need to make sure we're in a position to take advantage of the money without people knowing we're taking advantage of the money. Won't be easy, but Aston Villa showed you can do it.
Absolutely. And just my final word, unfortunately, talking about taking advantage, we're lucky that we are in a position where clubs can't take advantage of us. We're doing well. We're having a very good season for the second season in a row. We're not poor old Burnley, who, who we, so another club can come along and pull our trousers down and just take a player for whatever fee that it
And
deems.
I know I speak for you here. Declan's handled this well too.
Oh, he really, really has. And when you said about being a good guy, it's hard to really quantify without this becoming
I love it.
really long video. Whenever anything happens with a West Ham fan, or a West Ham fan passes away, or is sick, or something like that, it's Declan. Declan's there at the forefront. Declan was acting like a West Ham captain long before he was West Ham captain. He is, and whatever club he goes to, he will embrace himself within the culture of that club. He really is an outstanding individual, and he's got that remarkable ability. And I do think this remarkable ability to be authoritative, but also be funny and light-hearted at the same time, and likable. He's everybody's mate, but he can also lead. Rare qualities. I don't just mean in football. Just general. Think about think about your boss at work or whatever. It ain't an easy thing to do. So look, there we go. Declan Rice, 200 million. I was going to say, let us know what you think in the comments below. I'm sure you will. If you're not a West Ham fan, I'm sure you'll also let us know in the comments below what you think.